Welcome back, everybody, to some more fun in the studio. And I'm going to start a couple of paintings again with these techniques I've showed you in past videos. I'm starting with some walnut ink, and I'm just taking my brush and dribbling it out on the white sheet. This is a 140-pound watercolor cold press paper. So I'm also going to drop in some FW acrylic ink, just kind of a pink color. And I'm just going to make some drops in here. And I'm going to put some over there on the other end as well. Next up is just a little touch of green. And these acrylic inks have really nice color to them. Okay, next up is the bottle I've used before in my videos, or the glass jar I should say. I'm just going to take the bottom and start to make marks with the end. This usually streaks the colors and makes some kind of unique mark making with it. And I'll leave it there, and I'm going to bring in a plastic bottle, which I've showed you guys before. And here it is. And anyway, it makes a little, some different marks from the jar, some streaks. The next up here, I'm going to go back in with some walnut ink. I like to get this a little darker. Just kind of experimenting here, no preconceived idea. Just getting color and shapes and line down on the paper. I really enjoy working this way. It always surprises me in terms of what's going to come out, and there's nothing worse than being predictable in my estimation. I feel like the more I work with art, the more I want to be surprised. It's kind of like watching movies. I've seen so many genres that it's hard to surprise me anymore. So if it does surprise me, I'm really happy with it. And that's kind of the approach I take to art. I like something that I can't predict. That keeps me interested. And I'm going to go back to the spray bottle. Spray bottle, once again, brings some different lines. Will kind of bleed colors into others, and will also kind of bleed out to the edges here, as you can see. And I'm going to add still some walnut ink. I want to get some more down at the bottom towards that pink. Okay, while that's wet from my spray bottle, I'm going to go back to my glass jar, and I'm going to do some more swirling. And you can see what that walnut ink just did there at the end. Kind of bleeds into the pink. Okay, last up on this one, I'm going to quit after this, is I'm going to bring just some red to the mix. Kind of dribble it in. And this will eventually blend itself out. I'm going to bring the bottle in again. And it's almost like working with frosting or something on top of something. You can kind of push the water and color around. Okay, now I'm going to go to the next sheet, and I'm going to bring out the Japanese Sumi ink. And I'm going to spray just a few dots. That's pretty powerful. The black will take over everything. But we'll see what happens here as I bring in some other stuff here. The walnut ink I'm going to bring in as well. It'll be overpowered by the Sumi, but you'll still see remnants of the brown within it. It's almost like coffee the way it looks, the walnut. Okay, I really enjoy using the glass jar. It's really fun to kind of go through gestural motions. I kind of imagine Jackson Pollock, not dripping, but kind of just smearing and blending. And you can see some of the walnut there in the middle. It wasn't overpowered too much by the black. Okay, I'm going to bring some acrylic ink into it. This time I'm going to go with a blue. And we'll see what happens with that. The plastic bottle, kind of swirling it around, letting it meet the Sumi and the walnut. The spray bottle, you can see it really gets in on that blue really nicely. Also, I love how the blooms kind of develop from the edges with the Sumi as the water connects with it. And here we go, once again, adding some more color here, some more greens to the blue mix I've already gotten. And once again, you can see how the edges have softened as this starts to soak in the Sumi. And it's gotten a little too dark. I'm gonna go in with a paper towel and kind of smudge some out. Also, smudging will give it almost a charcoal feel when you do it to Sumi ink. So I'm just gonna take my time here and just kind of blot some of that out and let some of the white paper come through the charcoal kind of look. Okay, just to add some variety to the mix, I'm gonna use my brush now, and I'm gonna pick up some of that wet ink, and I'm gonna bring it out to the edges. The blue is particularly wet, so I'm just gonna bring some of those out, make some more marks with kind of large dots in the way the brush is. And go to the top also and bring some of that, just kind of balance out the top and the bottom. And finally, I'm going to bring just a little bit of white in to the mix. This is acrylic once again. I'm just going to dribble that in. That will dry really nicely. I've done this before. After I've gotten the Sumi wet, I like to bring some white into it. It really blends out and blooms. You can see those blooms starting to form. And here's these pieces kind of partially dry. A lot of mark making and blends and spidery lines in this one. The next one is more smooth, as you can see. It was more with the plastic bottle. Okay, real quickly, I'm going to show you just a couple of about 4 pieces I did today. This has got the bubbles on top, and how I made that is you mix acrylic, dishwashing liquid, and water together, and then you put a straw into it and blow, make the bubbles. Then you can dip the paper into it. These are drying. You can see the bubbles are still just kind of sitting on the surface, but they will soak in and they give you a really, really nice texture. This is the thing I was dipping them into right here. I'm gonna scan down, and that, once again, that's what I used today. Okay, now we're gonna switch over to acrylic paint, and I'm gonna make another abstraction here with mainly greens and blues, a little bit of pink I'm going to use, but once again I'm going to bring it out. I'm not going to dip it in like the ink. I'm going to smear it on with a brush, so I'm just going to kind of leave that on the surface. I really cherish my time in the studio. It's something I look forward to every day. If I don't get in, I feel a little uneasy. It really calms me. Definitely probably a therapeutic thing, making art, making especially abstractions like this where there's no real rules set in place. Here's the glass jar again. I'm going to take that and smear it just like I did with the ink. It doesn't flow quite as fluidly as ink, but you still can get some really nice marks with it. So how do you feel when you're in the studio? What kind of things do you go through? If you would leave some comments, I would love to chat with you about that. For me, it's almost like a sanctuary, and I know I've done a lot of different travels. We talked about traveling on this video, but it's always nice to get home. It's always good to go, but it's nice to come home and be in your same studio where you can work and you know, work with the materials you have at hand. When I'm in the studio like this, I'm always thinking about a lot of different things. I'll think about what's happened during the day. Even ideas, I'll think about titles for paintings, what I'm going to write about on social media, even what I'm going to do with this channel. So it's a time to really take stock in what's happened during the day and maybe even the week. I think a lot of people, when I was younger, labeled me kind of a dreamer. I would get involved with doing stuff and it was hard to call me away. And I learned to kind of ignore sometimes. I always generally heard people, but I was in my own world and I never kind of grew out of that. So perhaps that's the reason I'm still doing it. But it's something I definitely need to do every day. As I've gotten older, I've realized that if you can find something you really love to do, then by all means do it. Life is short and you've got to take advantage of the things you have that make you happy. And this definitely makes me happy every day to do this. Okay, we're just about finished up with this sheet. Just kind of bringing some other bleeds into the mix. A little pink I added at the edge. Made me satisfied with the balance that I'm trying to achieve. I'm always trying to balance. I'm always trying to work on the entire picture at the same time, especially the initial stages. Okay, for this video, I'm going to show you how I draw into the pieces. I've got the abstraction started. This is something I started sketching today, and I'm using Neocolor II. It's a water-soluble pastel, and I've just kind of drawn these two figures in. I'm not exactly sure where it's going once again, but you know, I take a lot of photographs, I draw from life. Sometimes I mix the two, sometimes I draw just completely from imagination. So we'll see what this comes to. I'm going to skip a little ahead here. This is the picture a little further developed. I'm not going to finish this today, but I thought I'd show you. Probably 50% into the piece, maybe 40% is still kind of the initial stages. I decided to go ahead and put a pizza in front of these guys. I don't know why I chose that, but I wanted to balance the right side with the two top-heavy figures on the left. So I saw someone today eating pizza, gave me the idea. A lot of times ideas come to me just by what I see in the day. And you know, sometimes these pieces can become serious, or they're just kind of a day in the life or a time, a moment in time. And I think this is probably what this is. If you liked the video today, please subscribe. I really love the fact that a lot of you have done that. I always love commentary. Please like it. And always much appreciated. I really love all my viewers. I hope I can deliver the things that you want to see. Anyway, here is where I'm at right now. I want to get a little closer with these figures. Anyway, I'm going to leave you with this today. I hope you have a wonderful week. Have fun making art, and I will see you next time.